Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walty here, and here's your latest housing market update. The U.S. Census Bureau just announced this morning, which is Tuesday, August 23rd, that new home sales absolutely tanked in July. On top of that, the supply of new houses for sale in the U.S. have absolutely skyrocketed this year. So with that said, I'm going to take a deep dive into this new report from the U.S. Census Bureau that was just released this morning. So I hope you guys get a lot of value out of today's video. Also, I did a lot of research in today's video to give you guys some additional insights. So I hope you guys appreciate that. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right in here. This again is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Again, it was announced today, and this is for July 2022 for new single-family home sales. And by the way, they define a new home sale as basically a pending home sale. This is again when a deposit is taken or a sales agreement is signed between a home buyer and a home builder. So it really acts like a pending home sales, which is really a really good indication of our housing market right now, because this is an early indicator or a leading indicator of our housing market here. But take a look at this because this is pretty astonishing here. In July, there was only 511,000 new single-family home sales in the US. That's this number right here. This is far less than the analyzed number we had back in January when we had 831,000 houses that were sold. Again, these are seasonally adjusted analyzed rates. So based on the current rate for home sales in January, if you analyze that over 12 months, that would give you 831,000 houses that actually has sold, again, when the home builder accepted an offer from home buyer. So a leading indicator of our housing market. Now it's only 511,000. This is actually far below than expectations. The street was expecting for new home sales to be 575,000, but they only came in at 511,000. So it came well below expectations for new home sales in the US. So down 12.6% compared to June of this year, but down almost 30% when you compare that to July of 2021. And when looking at Uncle Fred's website here, new home sales at 511,000, again, a seasonally adjusted analyzed rate for July 2022 is actually lower than April 2020 when we basically had stay-at-home orders across the United States. So new home sales have been absolutely tanking ever since really March of this year. And the current pace of 511,000 is the lowest levels we've seen since January of 2016. And because the Census Bureau records a new home sale as when a home builder accepts an offer from a home buyer, it does not record cancellations. So this headline number here of 511,000 new home sales is probably worse than builders are really feeling right now, because the Census Bureau does not record cancellations. So luckily for you guys, I found this. Here's according to John Burns Real Estate Consulting. They actually just tweeted this here, and they state here that buyer cancellations as of April this year were at 8%, but in July they're at 18%. So buyer cancellations have more than doubled since April this year. Therefore, the negative impact to home builders right now is probably a lot worse than this headline number here of 511,000 suggests. In other words, the Census Bureau only records signed contracts, not cancellations. In any case, this decrease of home sales by double digits from last month and also compared to one a year ago is likely due to rising mortgage rates due to housing affordability issues, right? So here's the latest rates we have from the Mortgage News Daily. So as of today, which is the 23rd, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage on average is at 5.73%. Again, that's for people with exceptional credit. But 1 year ago, average rates were at 2.94%. So that's an increase of 2.79 percentage points from 1 year ago. And current rates at 5.73% right now are at the highest rates since mid-July of this year. So that's causing a decrease of home buying demand and therefore a decrease of home sales across the United States here. And speaking of a decrease in home sales, take a look at this because they break it down by the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West. So on a year-over-year basis, take a look at this. In the Northeast, new home sales, again, these are new single-family houses across the United States, or in the Northeast, I should say, decreased 37%. But look at the West, decreasing by 50.3% from 1 year ago. So that was new home sales. Let's have a look at houses for sale or housing inventory for brand new houses. So right now there's 464,000 new single family houses that are for sale as of the end of July of this year. This is an increase of 28.2% from 1 year ago when we only had 362,000 houses for sale. And according to Uncle Fred here, the supply of new houses for sale are at the highest levels since March of 2008 when we had 470,000 houses for sale. Now we have 464,000. And have a look at this because the month supply is absolutely skyrocketing as well. So the supply levels right now is 10.9 months. So in other words, they have a 10.9 month supply of new houses for sale in the US, and that has almost doubled since January of this year when we had 5.7 months for housing supply for January. And July's levels of 10.9 months is an 18.5% increase from the previous month and an 81.7% increase from 1 year ago when the supply was at 6 months. It's more normal to have a 4 to 6 month supply of brand new houses, and this is obviously far lower than the 10.9 that we have right now. In other words, builders have far too much inventory on their hands right now, and this is likely due to delays in construction and also to a pullback in home buying demand. And again, here's Uncle Fred's website right here. A 10.9 month supply is absolutely insane because look at this trajectory this year. So in January of this year, we only had a 5.7 month supply. Now it's 10.9 months. This is the highest levels we've seen since March 2009. Okay, let's change gears slightly and talk about home prices for brand new houses, of course. The median sold price in July was $439,400. By the way, this is only an 8% increase compared to 1 year ago when home prices were about $406,000. But home prices have been coming down though, right? The peak or the all-time record high was set in April this year at $458,000. Now it's only $439,000. One thing I want to point out though is this increase compared to 1 month ago. So home prices for brand new houses actually increased from June back when they were about $415,000. So one likely result of that, or one byproduct of that, is this right here. The percent distribution of houses that sold for over $750,000. So take a look at this. In July 2022, 12% of all new home sales were for over $750,000. Compare that to June, we only had a 5% share of houses that sold for over $750,000. So that share compared to the previous month more than doubled. So that's likely the reason why I saw this increase in home prices compared to June. What we're also seeing is a lack of affordable housing as well. So have a look at this. In July of this year, only 8% of home sales were in the range of $200,000 to basically $300,000. Compare this to 1 year ago, we had 21% of all home sales in this range. Therefore, for new houses that sold within this range, they went from 21% 1 year ago, now it's only 8%. The Census Bureau also reports housing supply by stage of construction. So again, we have 464,000 houses for sale or new houses for sale as of the end of July, but 312,000 are coming from houses under construction in which they are technically for sale. This is still a very, very high number, about 8% below the record that was set in 2006. What I also found to be very interesting that you guys should definitely be aware of as well is that out of these houses for sale at 464,000, 45,000 are houses that are completed, but they are still for sale. This is about a 40% increase from March of this year by my dumb math here, because back in March of this year, we had about 32,000 houses for sale that were completed. Now we have 45,000. This is about half normal levels right now, but again, this has been increasing greatly ever since March of this year. And as I mentioned in previous videos, this is a very important metric to follow because if home builders are completing their houses, but they're not selling them, that's a red flag for this housing market. And meanwhile, the month supply of completed houses is at 2.3 months. 1 year ago is 4.5 months. So comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value out of today's video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.